Namaste. In this video, we will be discussing about BNN palmistry related concepts. So let us first go into the lagna. Here the lagna is Kanya, which is Bhumi and Bhumi Tatwa, and then the palm also shows Bhumi Tatwa. Now the in general palmistry, what we do is we look at the structure of the palm this way, okay, but in BNN we don't do that. I will show you how it is done. In BNN you go here, this is the middle, and again this is the middle of the Jupiter finger, and then this is the middle from the thumb. Draw a straight line and connect this, and connect the points which are from the mount region of this, like from this particular dots. Okay, so this shows that it is a square, clear square. The palmist might not agree with me, but astropalmistry is done like this, so we have to stick to the concepts, okay, so of astropalmistry, how it is done. Everything links to these areas. That means, from the center. So it is a different science, so you have to approach it in a different way. Pure palmistry does it in a different way. Astropalmistry differs from it slightly. So that means it's a square palm. Again, one has to see the mounts. These are bulky and they're protruding. All of them are protruding, in fact. So that is the second sign. That means these two indications, which means the square and the mounts which are protruding, show that this is Bhumi Tattva. So that means the lagna is indeed Bhumi Tattva. Whatever is seen in the chart matches closely the palm. The structure of the palm and the mounts are clearly matching with the Bhumi Tattva that is indicated in the chart. The second thing we have to go is in the direction chart. As per Guruji Shri R.G. Rao, when you do any palm analysis, you have to make a direction chart. So unfortunately, I won't be able to show you the direction chart from the North Indian chart. I can only look at the South Indian chart because I'm used to the South Indian system. So you can see that the Jupiter is in northern rashi, because in South Indian chart everything is fixed. So it's very scientifically it is very scientific and it's very easy to do palm analysis using the South Indian chart. North Indian chart is really good for analytical purposes of Parashari and other systems. This is really good South Indian for astropalmistry. So every chart has its own advantages and disadvantages. So here you can see that the Jalatatva Rashi is occupied by Jupiter and by Mercury. Okay, there is nothing in the Scorpio. So, and the degree of Jupiter is 5 and degree of Mercury is 24. So what I will do is, this is what we do. So Jupiter comes on the left. Jupiter is behind Mercury. Mercury is ahead because it is 24 degrees and this is 5 degrees. So you write the northern rashis, which are Jalatattva rashis, like this. Then you move on to the Agni Tattva, which is the eastern rashis. You can see that the Shani is in the Agni Tattva Rashi and the Rahu is also in Simha, that is Agni Tattva Rashi. The Shani is 9 degrees 56 minutes and the Rahu is 10 degrees 45 minutes. So you will see that the Shani will be written before the Rahu. Unfortunately, as you know, that sometimes in Parashara and Parashara Paddhati we take Rahu as direct, sometimes, for some particular instances. But in astropalmistry, Rahu and Ketu are always retrograde. Always. They never become direct. So let's look at this. That means the Shani is always going to the right, but the Rahu is approaching the Shani. You understand? Because it is retrograde, opposite direction mein dalna chahiye always. So that means the Agni Tattva are having Shani and Rahu. Similarly, you can see, though Venus is at very high degrees, but it is still in the southern Rashi, which is the Bhumi Tattva. And this is the highlight. You can see that the western Rashis are occupied by a lot of Graha in this. First one is Ketu, followed by Mars, followed by Moon, and then Sun. My focus would be here later. Of course, for now we will just focus on the other parts, but you can see that the Mars and the Moon are tightly conjunct. But in the chart you don't see that. You see, this is Moon and this is Mars. Though they are trinal, but they are very close to each other actually, as per the Tatwa chart. Does the palm show it? Let us investigate. Okay, let us investigate whether this direction chart actually makes sense or not, step by step. So I am sure you have understood what this means, the direction chart. Here you can see that the Venus, that is the Shukra, is in the southern direction. And you know the direction chart goes clockwise. Let me tell you that direction chart goes clockwise, but the nodes go anti-clockwise. Of course, those who have learned the RJ Rao's nadi, they would know what I'm talking about. So the Ketu here is actually approaching the Venus, which is going clockwise. Ketu will go anti-clockwise. So the Venus and Ketu are trying to meet. In fact, they will meet. And why will they meet? We will see that. Okay, for now, just realize that the Ketu is approaching Venus. It is not seen from the chart, but it is seen from the direction chart. Okay, it is seen from the direction chart. Very clearly one can see. Also, you can see that the Venus has got Shani at its rear and both these are Krura, or both these are malefics. Okay, so Venus is bound. There is like something like what we call as papakartari yoga. Okay, so Venus is bound. Let's go step by step. First step is that the Ketu is approaching Venus. Second, the Venus is subject to two the influence of two malefics. In fact, three malefics in 12 as well as in second from Venus. So that means, though the Venus is in Swakshetra, that means it is in its own rashi, it is supposed to be very, very strong, powerful. And if you look at it from Parashara, it is in the 9th house. Okay, so own house, 9th lord in 9th, very good. What does the palm say? Let's see. You can see here, this is the Shukra Rekha, very beautifully laid. This is the mount of Venus. It is bulging, it is occupying a large space. It is in fact occupying more than the prescribed space in the palm. But what is the inherent problem here? We will see. You can see that the Shukra Rekha is thorny. Please have a look. Kantedar, okay, thorny. You can see this clearly. So it shows some problem. What could be the problem? As you know, in Nadi, Ketu represents needles, sharp objects. Ketu also is approaching Venus. Does it sound convincing to you? It is. That means the Ketu is indeed approaching the Venus. Okay. Ketu also shows cuts. Breaks. Let us see. If you look at this Shukra Rekha, you will see that it is cut here. Thoda aage jaake it is cut here. I am going to tell you this. R.J. Rao sir's direction chart is amazing. Suppose you don't use the direction chart, then you know that when any graha is at 29 degrees plus whatever minutes, it is seen from both the rashis. This is what we do in Nadi. So it means that if the Shukra was here, suppose, then the Ketu would have a trinal connection with Shukra. If you don't want to use the direction chart, you can do it this way. But that is again just one way of describing it. You will see that the Venus has Mars and Sun. It means that something is burning. Some karakatwas of Venus are going to burn. Sun is about everything getting burnt, right? So what is getting burnt? Venus shows lot of karakatwas. Venus shows money. Okay, Venus shows wife. Doesn't mean that the wife is going to burn. I'm just going to tell you money might burn because it is a ajiva karakatva. Wife, maybe there is some problem. There could be some problem. Also, you can see the Shukra Rekha is not really good. So the family problems will surely be there. Shukra Rekha also is called Pitru Rekha. Pitru Rekha and Sun shows father. Sun with Mars shows that the father could either be in government service or father could face some problems. Okay, there could be some problems with the father's wealth. Okay, or the father and his brother might have some problem. I mean we have to look at it holistically. We will have to do that step by step. That is all nadi. But you know what I'm trying to say here is that when you see a faulty graha rekha and mount, you should see the chart and try to analyze how this might play out in his life. Okay, so let us look at the Shani Rekha now. Shani, in fact, the Shani is in 8th house as per Parashari. Okay, 8th house mein hai. You can see that the Jupiter, Jeev, this is the Jeev Rekha. This is the Jeev Rekha. Jeev Rekha is suddenly taking a turn, a diversion, and going into the Shani finger. Is going into the Shani finger. Okay, the Jupiter is again bound between two malefics, Ketu and Shani. Jupiter again is not really favorable, because you will see whenever you see a Jupiter line, these kind of thick areas are dangerous. Why is it dangerous, and what happens when it turns into the Shani mount, and when the mount is bulged, the person is having lot of tendencies, sensual tendencies, aggression in that aspect. Okay, I will put a full stop here. Let's go into the other part of this chart. You will see that the Venus occupies a large space. Though the Venus has a beautiful structure, it is thorny. As I told you, the Ketu approaches the Venus. The Venus is under Papakartari Yoga. The Jupiter is also hemmed between two malefics. Now, we will have to see this part, the Mars and the Moon. In the chart, you don't see any yuti between Mars and Moon. This is the Mars line. This is the Mars line. This is the Moon mount. This is the Mars line, the red one which I am showing, and this is the Moon mount. In the chart, as per Parashari, there is no connection. कोई connection ही नहीं है between Moon and Mars, right? Direct connection कोई नहीं है, right? But in the direction chart, ऐसा नहीं है. In the direction chart, it is actually opposite. सबसे strong, the सबसे strong युति जो है मार्स और मून की है. दैट मीन्स मार्स एंड मून आर वेरी टाइटली बाउंड टू ईच अदर. डोंट यू थिंक द डायरेक्शन चार्ट इज मेकिंग अ लॉट ऑफ सेंस हियर? It is, because you see the Kuja Rekha is directly going into the moon mount. Some palmists would say this is the Shani Rekha. Please note, look at the line carefully. Look at this line. this is not Shani Rekha, this is the Kuja Rekha that is coming out and meeting the moon. Okay, and then one part of the Kuja Rekha goes as usual down, and the space here decreases, not good. Okay, and the space here increases. I will tell you what it means. So basically two things have come out of this particular analysis. First is that the Venus has a break, Venus Rekha has break. Venus Rekha is thorny. It means there will be problems in his family, or there will be burning of money. Father might have government job, but father also will have some kind of difficulty. I'll tell you why. Look, when you look at the palm, you also go through the reverse palmistry technique. That means you also look at the lifeline from this part and not just this part. You will see that the lifeline has a sister line here. The lifeline, which is the Shukra Rekha, has a sister line. Ye achhi rekha hai. This is good. This is supporting. But suddenly, the support is lost. Suddenly, the support is lost. That means the father's Pitru Rekha, kuch problem ho gaya hai. Something, there is some problem. There is some problem. We don't know what the problem is. Could be because of this. Could be because of this. Kuch to problem hai. Okay, and that's why this person has all of a sudden got into trouble, and that is what is seen from here. So those I don't really want to reveal what it is, but this is what it is seen. This is what is seen from the palm. You can see the thorny Shukra Rekha is getting a support Rekha, and we generally see both sides. From both sides you have to see. This is something which nobody does in palmistry also. Please note, those who are learning palmistry, don't just restrict yourself from this side. You should also look at it from this side. So the palm is seen in many different ways. One of the ways is looking at it from the termination. Okay, and that also can show early life. So you have to analyze both sides, because it is Pitru Rekha also. So Pitru Rekha is seen this way and not this way. Okay, the science of palmistry is quite deep. Well, so where are we now? We are at this point where the moon and the Kuj are in strong yuti, and it is seen here. Another very interesting feature of this palm is that you will see that the moon and Ketu are conjunct. The moon and Ketu are conjunct. If you remember, I have shown you the sign for Ketu I think 3 or 4 months ago I posted a video. Please have a look. This E kind of shape is a Ketu sign. Where is this placed? It is placed on the moon mount, and it is quite close to this Rekha. Ketu, Moon, Kuja. Let's go to the direction chart. Ketu, Kuja and Moon. Do you think direction chart makes sense? It does. It does make sense. Okay, it always makes sense. So you have to know how to analyze. You have to know how to look at it. All right, and Kuja is turning towards the sun. This is again Kuja Rekha, right? This is Kuja Rekha. It is turning toward the sun. It is merging towards the sun. Western directions are heavily populated. Okay, this palm does make a lot of sense in terms of the direction chart. Okay, now let us go into the predictions. Because the Ketu sign is strongly seen on the moon mount, the mother has gone through a difficult phase in her life. The mother might be one of the younger siblings. This person will always have mental tensions. Suicidal tendencies will be accentuated because of this and this Moon Ketu Yuti and these signs as well. These are closing in towards the 8th house. So the 8th house has some malefic. Yes, of course, the 8th house has some malefic. Clearly seen. Okay. One by one, let's go into it one by one. So suicidal tendencies, mother has gone through a problem. Mother could be one of the younger siblings. There would be some throat related issues, or even some kind of issues with the face, okay, or eyes. There would be some issues with the eyes. So that is also seen, because now Venus also represents fluids. कौन से fluids मुझे बताने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. There would be issues on that front as well, okay, because it is bulging. Excess of something is not good, and this sudden turn towards Shani also shows aggression towards a particular thing, okay. So that is also seen. Careful रहना चाहिए इस बंदे को. I have already told him things which he should be careful about. Let's say now we will have to go into the timing, some predictions based on the timing, okay. Now let us see this here. This line, I'll just have to make it a little, okay. This line, can you see this 35 to 30 age progress line? This 35 to 38 progress line, you will see at this point that the Saturn in the chart, 1 minute, let's go to the Saturn in the chart. Just pull up the Saturn in the chart. The Saturn will be transiting over Mercury. कौन से एज में? After he crosses 35, the Saturn will be here. Alright. So Jupiter का transit. Let us look at Jupiter's transit. Jupiter will be roughly transiting on Jupiter. It means the Jupiter also is making a trinal connection, okay, with Mercury. Jupiter and Saturn both are now making some kind of connection with the Buddha, okay. That means this particular zone, Buddha, is getting activated at the age of 35. So between 35 to 38. And what is Buddha? Buddha is Vyapar, right? Vyapar means business, entrepreneurship, something like that. So for 3 years, between 35 and 38, this person might venture into business and gain lot of money. Okay, that is clearly seen. Why? Let's validate. ये देखिए, it is seen from here, the Buddha Rekha. Even though this is not good, this is good. So he is short business, he's going to get into some business for short term, and then at the age of 38 kuch hoga. There will be some major life changing event. Well, sorry, let me just quickly go back. 35th age mein, yeah, this one is clear, but look at the Shani Rekha also. The Shani Rekha goes up here up to this point. It is very, very nice, and then it thins out, okay. You can see there is a parallel Shani Rekha that helps this. So this period between 35 and 38 seems to be really good. This guy is going to gain a lot of money because of some entrepreneurship or some kind of business venture which he will start, okay. But at 38, there is something one has to see, and that is what I am coming to. At 38, there is a break in Shukra Rekha. There is a clear break in Shukra Rekha. Jupiter, the transit Jupiter will be on Shukra. यहाँ पर होगा. The transit Jupiter will be on Shukra. So that means energies or the Jiva energies will be on Jupiter. The focus, Jupiter will focus on on Venus. Will focus on Venus. What is happening to Shani? The Shani now has moved to Simha Rashi, and it has touched Rahu. Those who know Bhrigu nadi very well, they know that when the Saturn touches the the Rahu and when the Jupiter is on Venus at that time, the transit Jupiter, look, the transit, not the progress Jupiter, the transit Jupiter is on Venus, and when the progressed Shani moves to Rahu, and if there is a cut, in the Shukra Rekha because the Jupiter is on Shukra, then in that case the person will see a complete transformation. What kind of transformation? Let us see. At 38, यहाँ पर suddenly you see the Kuja Rekha is suddenly moving into the moon. That means the mind is now turned on. The mind has diverted from the usual track. ये usual track है that सिकुड़ता 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 जा रहा है. देखिए, the usual track was already already going towards something else, lack of interest or depression. He has suddenly changed his track. What is this track? What is this track? The Moon Ketu in Moon Ketu Yuti on the Moon Mount also shows interest in occult. Okay, ये occult की तरफ कुछ ना कुछ पदार्पण दिखा रहा है. Okay, so is that the only sign? No. You can see this sign is also a strong indication of occult. Shukra in excess sometimes creates addictions or excessive interest towards something. Okay, here Shukra is not considered good. Now at this point when I am discussing these two factors, this means there is an addiction or there is some occult addiction. I hope you are trying to get what I am trying to indicate. So the person might get into occult and his life will change forever. There will be a problem at this stage. I don't want to tell you what that is. It is not a good thing. This particular segment has something to do with this man going out from the normal world or the usual world which we coexist, and then suddenly reappearing. I hope he will do well. Well, okay, that is exactly what it means. So this is what this sign shows at 38, because the Shani is now on the Rahu, Jupiter is on the Venus, and this particular indication is seen with this bulged Shukra. Okay, so this was the general analysis of this palm, but does it actually show something here? Let us see. 8वें भाव में Shani does show interest in occult. Shani is niche. It does show interest in occult. Moon Ketu in 6th. So देखिए 6th, 8th and 12th have malefics. कुछ तो है. Something is there. Okay. So I think, and you see from the lagnesh, the 8th house has got Moon and Ketu. Okay, the 8th house has got Moon and Ketu. Now if you look at the Shukra, Shukra is strong in the 9th. It means study. 9th house is also higher studies. So maybe that also shows that the person will get some higher level knowledge of something. The Shukra is niche in Navamsh. Why? Because it is 20. If you take Lahiri, it is 28, and if you take Bhasin, it is 29. In both cases, it will therefore go into the Kanya Navamsh, which is niche. So Shukra is niche. Again, shows something. Okay, so the Jupiter is in 7th, aspecting the lagna. So that also shows inclination towards studying, and the Jupiter is bound between two malefics. So overall what I'm trying to indicate is that this person will get into occult, high level occult, after 38 years. Before that he will do business. He will have problems related to shukra, which could relate to fluids, which and excessive something, and also he will have diversions in his career will be good until the age of 38. Then his career will take a sharp turn. Overall there will be problems because of shukra. Stable marriage is not seen in this. The buddha is strong but blocked after a particular age. He will do business for a short period, but after that everything is going to change. So this is just a general analysis, just for academic purpose. I hope you have learned something related to BNN. This is not about getting some predictions. This is about how we analyze a chart based on the BNN sutras or the Bhrigu nadi sutras and correlating them with the palm. Thank you.